Hey up troops, Littleton here again with another video, and it's that time, it's Year 10 Season 1, it's been out for a few weeks, we haven't done a tier list yet, so we're going to do it right now. This is the official definitive tier. I hate when people are like, oh, the official tier list. There's nothing official about it, it's just a old bald man's opinion. However, I don't think I've ever been wrong, so I'm just kidding, I've always been wrong. Not always, just sometimes. Right, anyway, Ace sits in A tier for me. I don't want to go on about every operator because this is going to be a 45-minute tier list and nobody watches tier lists for an explanation on every operator. People just want to see where you put people. Ace comfortably sits in A. I nearly put him in S, but I think he sits in A. The nerf to the timing so it can be bandit tricked a little bit easier is knocked him down slightly. Alibi is pretty middle of the road for me. Got a Bailey for sight setup. I don't think a gadget's that bad. Proxy's decent weapon. I think... Is she as good... I'm going to put her in B. I reckon I'm tempted to put her in C, but I think Alibi is not bad. If you put alibis on windows that you can't repel at and put them under the window, enemies just can't get in until they do something about it. So not bad. Amaru for me, that's a burp then, sorry. Amaru goes in D. Like, other than going up hatches and flying in windows for a rush, like, just doesn't really do much for me. Like, I just don't think it's great. Like, there's very few operators I would rather... There's like one or two strats where you take Amaru for getting through a window quickly or for going up a hatch, and that's it. But outside of that, she's just not a good operator. Let's just be frank about it. Fun, don't get me wrong, but this isn't a fun tier list. This is a who's the best operator when it comes to played siege tier list. Rooney, I think, is drastically underrated. I think she's really, really solid. One speed, which doesn't help. But has that ability to just run out immediately because you can one-punch doors. I really rate Rooney. I think she's really annoying for attackers. And I'm going to put her in A. I actually think she's really good. And DMR and defense as well is really useful. Ash probably goes in A again as well. Insane weapon. We all know and love the R4C. Actually a very good vert operator with using breaching charges and 2 Ash charges as well. So I think Ash sits in A. I mean, I would maybe even go B, but no, I think Ash sits in A because there's also of the mirror counter, so I think she sits there. Azami still sits in S for me. I did a video recently of the 5 best defenders. Azami was in there. Spoiler alert, go and watch that video. Thanks very much. It's not the latest one after this, but the one before. Azami sits in S. Yeah, I know DMRs can counter it now, and I know you can just shoot the Kiba barriers, but just still really, really oppressive. Even when you've used a whole mag to destroy a Kiba by it and another one appears. You got to use a whole mag to destroy that. Bear in mind, on attack, you usually get like 5 or 6 mags depending on the operator. DMRs obviously is the right counter, but it's not always you've got a DMR. Bandit, I think, is also drastically underrated, and I feel I'm going to be... I'm going to be controversial here. I'm going to put Bandit up in A. I feel the skill ceiling in terms of gadgetry and utility in Siege is dropping. And I feel that if you are a good bandit tricker, or if you just even play bandit to annoy people and make them have to use EMPs, or make them bring Thatcher, or make them use Twitch, or whatever to get rid of the bandit batteries, people don't necessarily want to do that as much as they used to. I also think with the introduction of the secondary gadgets, the sort of unison and teamwork between, Thatcher and Thermite used to be the boys, right? How often do you see Thatcher and Thermite played? Now you'll see someone say, oh, just take Osa because they've got EMPs. And if you're taking EMPs, bandit tricking is pretty easy, if I'm being brutally honest. Because you can only stop one bandit battery at a time, generally speaking, depending where you put your bandit batteries. Thatcher will stop both batteries, so then Ace can put a Salma on both walls. If you're just using EMPs, you've got to put an EMP on both batteries, and it takes 2 EMPs to do it, and then you've only got one, and you've got none left. And then with Thatcher, you'd still have 2 left. And you know what I'm going to. I think Bandit is an A-tier operator because of other people's laziness, and maybe that's not the right word, but just unwillingness to play Siege as it used to be. There's still a lot of people who do, but there's also a lot of people that don't. Blackbeard, well, this is an interesting one. Since the rework, I'm going to put Blackbeard in B tier. I don't think shields are that oppressive at the minute, which I know is not a very popular opinion. Everyone hates shields, but when Blackbeard's walking at me, I don't really feel that worried. Because if he gets too close, when you melee a Blackbeard, the shield goes miles away. It's dead easy to kill a Blackbeard up close. And also, when a Blackbeard's walking you down, you can just ADS his head. And as soon as that shield drops, it's a free headshot. You can shoot him before he gets his gun over the top of the shield. The problem is when he turns a corner peeking you, that's when it's a bit more difficult. But I tend to think that people, unless you're at the top level of the game, I think people that play Blackbeard and Blitz are a little bit too confident with a shield in front of them. They think they're sort of invulnerable a little bit, but they're not. Speaking of which, Blitz, I'm going to put Blitz in B tier as well. Same thing as Blackbeard, really. I think Blitz is a bit harder to fight up close because obviously you can just flash her and you can't see. But I still don't think either of them are as game breaking. They're annoying. Don't get me wrong; they're annoying to play. But once you know a team plays shield, you can adapt. Brava is also a B tier. I'm worried I'm going to have no one in C here. A B tier operator, just really solid. Not A tier. I'm going to cough. Hang on. Excuse me. Not A tier by any stretch, but as soon as you see a Maestro or an Echo or a Capcan, you bring in Brava. Oh, I don't know. I've just pressed spacebar. Sorry about that. You bring in Brava, and generally speaking, a solid choice. Great weapons as well, and a secondary shotty. Buck used to be S tier for me. Has now dropped down the pecking order a little bit with getting rid of the Gon 6 and the hard breach charges. Remember, you used to have a Gon 6 and hard breach charges. But now for me, sits in like B plus A minus. I'm going to put him in A. Still, the gun's insane, and being able to just open that much vert up and down so quickly is really solid. I still think Buck's really good, actually. Capitao, oh my god, I'm just going to put everyone in A tier. This is a bit cringe. Capitao, for me, sits in A. He has very few counters other than Wamai. He's got hard breach charges and a Gon 6, which is what we spoke about Buck before. A good gun. He's got area denial with fire, line of sight denial with smoke. Ticks so many boxes. The guy is underrated. There's so many Pro League executes where you see Capitao used. So good. Castle. I want to put Castle in A as well. I mean, we better start getting some poor operators soon. Castle also sits in A for me, but it depends who's playing Castle. If you've got a good Castle, depending on the setup, could even be S, but depending on the setup, could also be D. But if you use him correctly and you help your team out with the setup, even if you just do doors and windows, generally speaking, Castle's going to be A. I'm really sorry. For some reason, woke up this morning and had a bit of a cough in bloody April. It was a cough in April. Kavera, poo. Actually, is she that poo that it's D? Or I think she's that poo, it's D. I just don't rate Cav. I feel like if you see there's a Cav on the other team, you can easily just drone a Cav and have two people go at her. And I just feel Cav is generally ineffective. Maybe that's because, I'm going to sound really elitist here, maybe that's because in the rank that I play in, everyone uses drones, generally speaking. Not everyone. You know you are. Most people use drones, and you can drone out a Cav and have your entry following your drone and do something about the Cav. At lower ranks, when people don't drone and don't, for some reason, care about the flank behind them, that's when Cav seems to be really good. But if you're actually playing Siege, which is what this tier list is, you would drone out the Cav, find out where she is, and do something about it. Clash sits in C. We finally got a C tier operator, but again, I think Clash is a little bit underrated. I think people forget how good the secondary SMG is. I think people also forget the fact that you don't... I've made a video about this about a month ago. You don't need to stand next to someone when you're playing Clash. Like, the further away you are, within 12 meters, I think the range of the shield is, the further away you are, the safer you are. The only risk you have as a Clash is walking close to the enemy when they can punch your shield and shoot your toes. So don't stand next to people when you're playing Clash. Keep your distance. Deimos. I'm going to put Deimos in B. Now, I know people think Deimos is mint and he's very, very good, but only when you're in the ascendancy on the round. If you're in a 2v1 or you're in a 3v1 or a 4v2, then Deimos is good. However, I feel like Deimos players tend to get a little bit short-sighted and a little bit tunnel vision. And you go and you're tracking someone and you just run towards that player. Like, oh, okay, I know exactly where that player is. But don't forget, yes, you have a live ping on them, but they also get a ping on you every second. So they know where you are as well. So if you're about to peek a door, they know you're about to peek that door. And I've done that a few times. I've managed to kill the Deimos who's tracking me down because I know where he is. But he is, as soon as you get into like a 5v3, 4v2, etc., then he is really strong. And obviously vertically is good as well because you can just go above or below and just shoot through the floor exactly where the pinpoint is. So he is good in that sense. I do feel like he's easy to counter though, especially if you're roaming, you just go and stand on solid floor, if on a floor above or below a solid ceiling. And if he is roaming, you can sort of give him the, depending on how far into the round you are, something I did the other day on Border. I was getting tracked by Deimos, and I had someone else who was roaming. We were defending the top floor. I had somebody else who was roaming with me below, and I made sure that the path that I took I crossed my teammate. So my teammate was hidden behind a corner, and I ran away from the Deimos, past that corner. The Deimos chased me, and my teammate just shot him in the back as he ran past. It was a perfect bait. And that's where, I mean, Deimos tends to get a little bit tunnel visioned usually. Doc, I think, is a D tier operator. I don't rate healing ops in Siege. One shot headshot means nothing to me. Sorry, one shot headshot means everything to me. What are you talking about? One shot headshot means to me healing ops are a bit poo. There are times where you've got a Doc and you go, oh great, I've been healed. Every single player who plays Doc plays it for MP5 and ACOG. That's it. That doesn't make Doc a good operator. That means the people who are playing him are decent at fragging. That doesn't make him a good operator though. I don't rate healing ops in Siege. And you'll see that when it comes to Thunderbird and Rook as well. Although is Rook a healing op? Not really. Dockerby. Probably still sits in S for me. She gives so much, man. Not only being able to hack the cameras, but obviously also when you make the call, it stops your defenders, dead defenders being able to watch cams for you. She has like 4 really good things that happen. Like you can hear the vibrations, so you know where people are. You can find out where people are. You can stop people going on cams. You make them stand still while they turn the phone off. They make defenders not be able to watch cams when they're dead. And you also get access to all the defenders' cameras for all of your team. She's ridiculous. Echo, I think, is also slightly underrated, but I'm going to put him in B at the minute. Echo is very good, in my opinion, when you play aggressive defensive droning with Echo. I think he's really solid. If you've got like a fragger on your team who you're playing with, you can, you know how you would drone someone in on attack? You can just drone them around the map on defense almost with Echo. And you can say, you know someone's in the next room, you can go on the ceiling, stun them, and then your teammate swings them. It's basically how Rogue won the Berlin Major back in 2022, was it, I think? They just had like Deepek on Echo and Spoit following him around. I mean, there was a bit more to it than that, obviously. But they did that a lot and it worked really well. Allet, straight into C for me. I had a bit of a buff recently with impacts. That gun still kicks like a mule for me. I'm not a massive fan of the gun, but having impacts is solid. The utility is okay. You get a shield as well, I suppose, which is good, but I just don't. I walk into an ally mine, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll walk back out that door for 3 or 4 seconds then, and then now I'm okay to go. It just doesn't really do much for me. Fenrir is S tier still. Walking through a Fenrir mine above a door, or Fenrir trap, FNAT trap, whatever, above a door is oppressive, and there's no denying that, and it's as simple as that. It's one of the worst traps to walk in as an attacker. It's gross. You can't see anything. Your whole senses just get muddled. It's gross. Still sits in S. Bailiff as well, an MP7, like, he's class. Reason you see him banned quite a lot. Finker, rubbish. Absolute. I know a lot of Siege streamers and YouTubers rate Finker, and I go against the grain. I don't, man. I know Pox and Locks loves her, and if he watches this, or whenever I speak to him about Finker, I always say she's crap, and he's like, dude, she's like 80 or easy. I'm like, no, Pox, not for me. Getting, a 20 HP health boost or whatever it is, you don't get flashed, but you will lose all sound. You can't hear anything. You have a spear, which people think is great on Finker, but then shit on Thunderbird. Why is that? I don't know. The spear is great on both. It's a solid gun, but just the utility doesn't do anything for me. Like, yeah, you get a little heal boost, but really, how much is 20 HP going to save you? There is one time in my Siege career that I can remember a Finker boost coming in clutch, and it was on Clubhouse. I've got the clip somewhere. It's on Clubhouse, and as I'm in a post-plant scenario, I'm on like 20 HP or 15 HP. I get Finker boosted, and the defender swings me, and I kill the defender, and I end up on 6 HP, which means I would have died if I hadn't been Finker boosted. And that was about 2 years ago, and I've never had a benefit since. Flores, good op, easily counted a little bit, but I think there's enough drone holes and enough doorways that you can make Flores pretty useful. Tempted to put Flores in S, to be honest with you, but I'm going to stick him in B. He's like B plus A minus again. Frost. Frost's an interesting one for me. The tier list is starting to take shape, by the way. This is what you want to see. Like, a few up here, a few down here, and then most in the middle, like a bit of a triangle shape. Frost is a bit of I'm thinking of Frost of like the all-round kit. A gadget and utility is okay, you know, especially now with the being able to, especially now it's a little bit nerfed. What was that, like a year and a half ago or something? But having that secondary shotgun, the gun with the ACOG is so good, and the shield, just a whole kit is solid. And there are times with a frost mat where you can just put them in stupid places and people jump into them. I hate jumping into frost mats. I'm putting Fuse in S tier, and you can all come at me for it. And I'll stand by this. If you know how to use Fuse with an AK, with hard breach charges, and you know how to use him in terms of where the pucks go, he's an A tier operator. Again, is he B? I'm just getting a little bit excited. I think I might be. Okay, hang on. Let me just have a drink here. Let's just calm down a bit. I'm going to go B. I actually really am tempted to put him there, but I'll go B. Glaz goes into C. Not the worst operator, but has very limited use. The use that he's good, like the things that he's good at, he's very good at. But how often do you actually need to peek smoke with Glaz, as opposed to picking any other attacker? It's not very often. Goyo's solid. It's like, 80 seconds of area denial is a lot, but it's difficult sometimes to keep those Goyo canisters up and running. Setup can take some time as well, and you've got to start putting 4 Goyo canisters down across the map, do a few reinforcements. You've got impacts as well, which is helpful. Vector's a good gun. Goyo goes in B for me, although I think Goyo could maybe go in A. I'm going to put Goyo in A. Gridlock is the most B tier operator in all of this. Like, just so average, but not bad. I play Gridlock quite a lot. Good gun, good gadget. Well, gadget's okay. It's a little bit underwhelming. But frags as well. Secondary shotty. 1 speed, which isn't great, but, she's the best 1 speed in the game. Grim is solid, but not as solid as people think. A lot of people may be putting Grim in S, but I'm going to put Grim in A. Mainly because you still have to push when they're in the B. So a lot of people will play, virus and threat protection on the recording PC there. Thank you very much, Windows. Appreciate that. I think a lot of people will Grim an area, see that there's someone pinged, and then expect that person to just run away. Whereas if you're playing Rafters on Clubhouse, for example, Grim's no use, in my opinion, or half wall on border. Because you get pinged and you're like, yeah, you knew someone was there. You already knew someone was there. Granted, the active ping could be a little more beneficial if you want to push it, but people tend to sort of Grim and then not always push. But yeah, I don't know. No, I'm keeping it in A. Habana is B tier for me. Great castle counter, by the way, but obviously being able to get hatches, not so great at getting walls, but solid enough to sit in B. Ayana sits in C. Not very good at the minute. I mean, it can be useful to just be able to drone, but I think I would probably just rather have Zero, who could put cams in like permanent places. Got a bit of a benefit, a bit of a buff recently with the timings on the Ayana clone. I can't remember what it's called, the clone that she uses. And also the G36 had a bit of a buff, but the ARX is probably better than that anyway. But yeah, sit and see. IQ nades and probably the best Valk counter other than maybe Brava. But IQ. No, IQ's better than C, isn't she? IQ's. But the thing with IQ, right, is you've got to do something about it. Like, you can see where everything is, great, but you've then got to do something about it, and you need teammates to help you. Like, on her own, she's just, look, there's a Cade Claw there and a Valk cam there, and you're on the other side of a wall, and you can't do anything about it. You still need someone else to help. Right, no, I think she probably deserves B, I think. Jackal also deserves B. Don't forget, if you want to avoid being Jackal tracked, you can just go prone, and then you don't leave footprints. Also, bear in mind, there's only 4 types of footprints in the game, and if you want to really main Jackal, you can learn what the footprints are, and then you'll know which operators step where. Well, there's 3 main footprints, and then Skopos has her own sort of robot-shaped footprint. But yeah, secondary shotgun, both really good guns. The PDW is actually a laser, and just really annoying to play against. I feel like Jackal the ping should only appear for Jackal, not the rest of the team. Jaeger's a bit naff at the minute, and I'm probably going to put Jaeger down in C, even though I do rate him. Doesn't counter Capitao. Just doesn't really. I think Jaeger needs a little bit of love, maybe. Up the capacity of the 416 again, back to 30 from 25. Maybe. Cade is worse than Bandit, in my opinion, these days. I used to say different to that. I think I used to change my mind. I used to say Cade was better because he could also get hatches. But Cade tricking now is really tough. With Thatcher not really being banned anymore, Thatcher just stops Cade tricking. I know he can get hatches, but yeah, he's good. Really solid op to have. Like, he's never a bad pick, is he, Cade? Never a bad pick. Kali. This is an interesting one because Kali's gadget is actually class. You can destroy gadgets or utility on the other side of a wall. That's wild. A reinforced wall, not just a solid wall. And the secondary SMG is good as well. I'm not a big fan of the sniper rifle personally. I'm not great with one-shot weapons. I never have been. But the secondary SMG is good. She is good for Kelly rushing, where you can just one-shot a barricade and then swap to your SMG and be in the building pretty quick. I've put videos on TikTok about that in the past. Capcan goes in B for me. I know it's like if I was console, people put Capcan up there. You know why I put Capcan in B? Because Capcan isn't good. You're bad. You're as in me as well, as in the player. Capcan isn't a good operator. The player can't be asked to check for traps. That doesn't make Capcan good. Like Fenrir can put his trap on the other side of the door where you can't see it. You can see every Capcan trap before you go through a door. You've just got to check for them. Also lost his C4, which I think makes him a little bit worse as well. But yeah, I just check the doors, man. I don't think Capcan isn't good. You're bad, as in, I can say, the Capcan isn't good. The player is bad because he doesn't check the door. Or she doesn't check the door. Excuse me. Legion S tier, no doubt about it. Straight up there, best roamer in the game. Great gadget. Put it wherever, under hatches, behind doors, on steps is a really good one. When I did my 5 best defenders video, Legion was in there, and I give some good tips for Legion, and that, so go and watch that. Lion I don't know, man. I don't really rate Lion that much. Like, oh, there's a Lion scan. I've got to stand still for 4 seconds. So probably less than, 3.5 seconds? I don't know if you know this, but when the clock is ticking on the Lion scan, when it's 3/4 done, you can actually move. If you move in that last quarter of the Lion scan, it doesn't register as a move. So, good. Not bad. I don't hate him. I just don't think he's very good. Well, he's better than others, but just not as good as the ones above him. That's sort of how tier list works. Maestro. I'm going to put Maestro in B. The problem with Maestro is this girl. If there's a Brava that comes after Maestro, it can be a problem. However, remember, Maestro counts as Brava, right? So as soon as you see that Brava drone, or if you know there's a Brava on the map, get on cams right at the end of prep phase, try and find a Brava. If you know there's a Brava, you can instantly stay on your Maestro cams, and that Brava drone is going to try and find your Maestro cams. So early in the round, have the Maestro cam open and ready, flick between all 3 of them, get ready for where that Brava is going to come from, and as soon as you see the Brava drone, you can destroy it with the Maestro cam. Bear in mind that Brava cam's got to be within 10 or 12 meters of the cam and must have line of sight, so you're definitely going to be able to see it. You've just got to be really active. So Brava's trying to counter you. How about you flip reverse it, drop the Uno reverse card, and you counter the Brava instead. Then we've got Maverick, who's... I think you've got to put Mav in S, man. I think you've got to put Mav in S because he doesn't have a counter still. I think any operator that doesn't have a counter, which is only really Maverick, I think you've got to put Mav in S. If you can Mav trick, he's in S. I think I'm leaving him in S. I'm strongly in a belief of that, and I'm also putting Malusi in S as well. Having that being a 1-speeders, Malusi's only negative, right? Having 4 Banshees now, a secondary shotgun to set up sight, and a bulletproof cam. Literally she's in my top 5 defender list. I'm ruining that video for anyone who might go and watch it. I really think Malusi's really good at the minute. Mirror, good, but easily there's very few mirrors that you can't counter with vertical presence or vertical play, and also with Kali and Ash as well. And no one ever plays Jaeger or Wamai really anymore. People play Wamai every now and then. But yeah, being able to counter mirror is pretty easy these days. Monty, the guard break on Monty has dropped his playability, and it used to be if you planted the bomb with a Monty in a 1v1, it was job done. Like, you couldn't really do anything as a defender, where you can now. You can just use that guard break animation 3 or 4 times in a row, and it drops and it opens the shield up. I don't think Monty's that good anymore. He's annoying, he's oppressive, but I don't really think he's that good anymore. Mozzie, 4 pests, C4. The problem with Mozzie is obviously you've got to catch the drones, right? I know that sounds a stupid thing to say, but you know, like if you were talking about Valk, you just get 3 cameras straight away. With Moz, you've got to find those 4 drones. But if you do get a drone, not only do you get a drone, you take the drone away from the attackers. Maybe you could get 4 drones, and that would mean they only had 6 for the entire round. That would be huge. Mute, no doubt about it. Best defender, almost best operator in the game. It's not even close, in my opinion. Counters everything. One of the only operators other than maybe Mozzie who definitely Mozzie, who counters the best utility that attackers have, which is a drone. Best op. Knock, for me, still sits in D. The changes that Knock had, which were pretty cool, where you could keep the cloaking device on while you were moving, it wouldn't deplete, was nice. I still don't think the FMG9 is a good enough weapon to be a primary on attack, even though the fire rate's good. There's obviously invisible to cameras, but if it was invisible to like a few more bits of utility, then I think it would be a better gadget. But yeah, not great for me at the minute. Nomad's good, but Nomad is so easy to counter. You can hear the air jab. It makes quite a loud noise, a distinctive noise, and you can generally shoot every air jab, give or take, before you see it, as long as you're not, like, if you're aware there's an air jab there. Obviously, that's the problem, but it's oppressive enough. If you hear an air jab go on a door, you generally don't peek it, do you? You're sort of like, well, I know there's an air jab there. I can't really go out of here. Oryx. I used to put Oryx in D. I will put Oryx now in C. Excuse me, with the Rise of the Shield. A Rise of the Shield, that sounds like a TV program. With the Rise of the Shield and the increase in shield players, Oryx has a bit more of a place. I still think that I would rather play like a Legion to counter shields than an Oryx, but he's not as bad as he used to be. Osa. Osa sits in B or A. I think maybe B. They're a bit fragile, aren't they, the Osa shields? Like, anyone with impacts can sort it. Again, Osa players tend to think they're Monty when they're walking into a building. You can just always shoot their ankles. When they're putting the shield down, the shield goes up first. Really good opportunity to shoot ankles. Is good in some circumstances, but yeah, not so great in others. Pulse is so one-dimensional, it's unbelievable. And let's put him there. I'm tempted to put him down in D, but I'm going to put him there. Quite a one-dimensional op. You can't play him really above looking down because that's not what he's about. You can do, but it doesn't really work that way. You're always going to be playing below, and you're just reliant on trying to get a C4. By the time you put your scanner out, the player's moved, and you don't get the C4 kill, and the rest of the round you just got a shitty UMP with no ACOG. And I know I think he's Macy J's favorite operator, but not for me. Ram, good. The only thing about... I'm going to put Ram in A, actually. The only thing about Ram is she makes a little bit too much vert, and sometimes it can be detrimental for attackers, and defenders can see through this. You know, if you're playing Buck or Sledge, you can make sort of specific lines of sight in the floor, whereas Rams are just a bit like, oh, just open the lot. Just open the whole floor, and you can't really move around as conspicuously as you can with Buck and Sledge. But still, you can just chuck it in a front door and open a floor completely in Chalet, for example, and it just cuts off in a whole area of the map the defenders can't really play in anymore. So it's still good. Root comfortably D. And I'll face no arguments about this. You give someone a 20 HP boost and they get down unless it's a headshot. When was the last time you used the Rook armor and got back up? When was the last time? It happens maybe 1 in 15 times, maybe. I would have every other defender on this list before I had a Rook. Comfortably as well. Rora, right, the new one. New girl on the block is going to go in B. Situational, however, in the right situation, incredibly strong. There are some, I've done a video as well, there's some spots on certain maps where Rora is really good. Excellent in a post-plant scenario. One thing that people tend to do with Rora, which I've seen at the minute and I've done myself, is they'll fire the Rora panel at a door that they're nowhere near. Now, bear in mind that you can only reactivate it when you're within 6 meters. So so the classic one is Clubhouse, and you're on Master Window, right? And you fire the Roar panel to the bathroom double door that's on the angle. You think, no, okay, I've blocked off bathroom door now. I don't have to worry about that line of sight anymore. But there's going to be a defender in bathroom 99 times out of 10. Whoa! So if there's a defender in bathroom, they're within 6 meters of the panel. They can just open the panel. You're not within 6 meters of the panel, so you can't shut it again. So it's a bit of a waste. It's still good, half okay for run-outs to an extent, but then people can just shoot the barricade and open the panel and open it anyway. Sense, really solid since they got the being able to turn it off before you throw it. I rate Sense. Nobody else does. But I think there are certain executes and certain parts of maps where Sense is solid. And I'm actually going to put Sense in B. Tempted to go A, but I'm C. Bit situational again. No, I'm going to put Sense in B, and I'm confident with that. Sentry. Wait, is that striker and that Sentry? That's the defender, isn't it? The defender's not as good as the attacker. Versatile. Being able to take a shield and a C4 is class, and the gun, the commando, is good as well. Secondary shotgun for side setup. You know what? I'm going to bump him up the more. I've just convinced myself. I'm going to put them in B. Scopos. I was driving home from work today. I had a 2-hour drive back from a meeting. I was up in Leeds. As I was driving home, I was thinking about this video, and I was thinking about where I was going to put operators, and I thought about Scopos. And I wasn't sure on the drive home, and I'm still not sure now. I feel like, how many times has there been a play by Scopos where you were like, oh, that's actually really good? Like, probably the coolest operator that's been introduced to the game for a long time. The design is really, really cool. But in-game, how many times has a Scopos play happened where you've gone, wow, that was incredible use of Scopos? Not that much. I'm going to put them in C, but I think maybe could go B. But don't tell the designer of Scopos Justin I did that because he was... I mean, the design's class, but I want to put it in... Nah, I'm going to go with C. Sledge. Recently got the change to 2-speed again. Buck's in A, so Sledge has to go in B. Sledge was down in C for a while for me, but I'll bump him up to B now. Being a bit faster. Got the... obviously the nades. The problem with Sledge is you can't make vert above, Buck can. Smoke goes in A. If Smoke had a shield, I'd put him in S, but he doesn't anymore, so he goes in A. I still think he's a great operator. He's one of my most played. Class op. Solis. So I made a video about Solis recently as well, and I still think Solis goes in C. You give impacts back and Solis pops back up here, but for the moment Solis is down in C. The way to play Solis is shotgun SMG11 for me, I think, and then using the shotgun to play vertical through the floor when you know the planting. Striker is better than Sentry. Nah, he is better than Sentry, or she is. I think Striker might be a she, actually. She is better than Sentry, but she's not A tier. You know, she's not as good as Smoke, Grim, Goyo, Capitan. No, sits in B. I'm really sorry about the coughing. Then we've got Tachanka, who sits in C because I would have a Tachanka over any of these ops. I would take Tachanka over Cav, over Doc, and over Rook. It's a little bit clunky to swap from the gadget, granted, but that LMG is actually really solid. It packs a punch, man. It's like 2 shot down in some circumstances. And if not, you can just use the 9x19 with an ACOG as well, which is really good. Obviously, you don't have any sight set up then, but that 9x19 with an ACOG is pretty fruity. Thatcher's solid. Offers a little bit more than people remember, I think, when it comes to Thatcher. Don't forget, Thatcher offers more than just wall denial. No, more than just countering Bandit and Cade. You can counter anything you can counter any gadget basically that's electronic, and cameras obviously, of course. Wait, does Thatcher counter a default cam? If you throw a Thatcher grenade at a default cam, does that default cam stay on or off? I actually don't know the answer to that. I'm going to find that out after this video. Anyway, there's more to Thatcher than meets the eye with just default cams. My boy Thermite, unfortunately, has to go in B. I want him to go up in A. For me, in my heart, he's an S, but he's definitely in a B, really. The introduction of Two-Brow and the lack of Thatcher players these days means Thermite, unfortunately, sits in B. Not as good as getting a wall open as Ace, because you can be bandit trick quite easily. It's a lot harder to bandit trick Ace if you do both panels. But yeah, solid op. My most played ever. Thermite and Muters. If I could just play 2 ops forever, it'd be Thermite and Muters. Thorn sits in C, bit crap, brutally honest. One thing people, and I do this all the time as well, but you know, if you hear a Thorn trap go off, it's a lot easier to turn to where the sound is and shoot the Thorn trap than it is to try and run away. Because more often than not, you're trying to run away, you don't know where it is, you don't know what direction to go in, whereas if you just listen for the trap, you get like 3 full seconds to turn around and find the trap and then just shoot it. That is a much better counter than just trying to run away, in my opinion. Thunderbird recently got buffed, but I still don't rate healing ops in Siege, and you'll notice that now with Thunderbird, Rook, not really healing op, but kind of HP related. Finker and Doc down here, not for me. Two-Brow goes up in A. Two-Brow's got more than wall denial in his pocket as well. Remember that Two-Brow's a C4. You can throw a Zotto canister on the ceiling and you can see footprints below. You can freeze claymores for runouts. You can just hold doors, and if someone's getting aggressive and pushing, like a shield, for example, you can just freeze the doorway. It stops them getting through for, 10, 12 seconds or whatever it is. He's got more to his locker than wall denial. I keep doing that. And a DMR if you're any good with DMRs. I'm not, unfortunately. Twitch is still solid, and I think Twitch still fits in B if you're any good with DMRs. I'm not very good with DMRs, although I do try and play her on bank. Being able to just nip around the map and counter Goyo and counter default cams straight away from outside the map. There's a lot of gadgetry you can get with it. She's solid. Still has a place. Valkyrie is S tier. I don't have any... just thinking about Brava, but no, she doesn't count with Valk as well because they're so well hidden usually. 3, I don't need to tell you about Valk, really good. Vigil, since the Bosch G nerf, I think Vigil sits in C. And the thing with Vigil is, like, you know that he's there, if you know what I mean. The best thing about Vigil is if you're up a floor or down a floor, and people say, oh, I'm getting a Vigil scan here, and you're actually above or below, and people don't realise. But yeah, classic Roma, really. Can't be seen on drones at times, can run around the map using impacts to manipulate hatches or whatever to get to move around. Just a good Roma. Maybe could go here on a different day. Wamai sits in A, counters every throwable, even Salmas, even Capitao bolts. Great gun, Keratos for lines of sight, impacts as well, proxies, great op. I play a lot of Wamai, I like Wamai, I rate him. Warden sits in B. So pre-Warden being a 1-speed and the MPX with a 1.5, he would sit in A or S because it was actually really solid. But now, unless someone smokes or flashes, not that good, is he really? Very situational. Ying goes in A. Really oppressive. If you're attacking Attic on Oregon, just play Ying, throw 2 Candelas down into the pit. The defenders will flood out the way because they don't want to be blinded unless it's a Warden. And you can just take pit. It's free cheese every time. Just then you've got to have the fight when you get to the bottom of pit. Don't step in the Frostmat when you drop off pit in Oregon. 0. I rate 0. Oh, no. And I'll stand by 0. I actually think 0 could go here. No, I'm putting 0 there, man. I'm going to get some stick for this, but I don't care. 0 has got 6 cameras, a GON 6, hard breach charges, an MP7 or an SC3000K or whatever it's called. It's insane. 0's S tier, man, but people don't like it because it's not like a flashy op. You know what I mean? You're throwing cameras around, you're firing cameras around to watch. That's not like everyone's idea of fun, and it's not flashy. It's not like you're playing a quick peeking AK on Ace or something like that. No one really likes doing it. I rate it. By the way, notice so we've got defender, attacker, defender, defender, attacker, defender, 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 attacker. So more defenders than attackers in S. And we finish on Zof, who I think is actually class. And again, I'm going to get a stick for this, but hard breach charges now, remember. 2 soft breach charges with the impact grenades, and 2 stuns, and a good gun. Maybe in a different day I could put it down. I'll put her in B, actually. Yeah, maybe not A. I'm just looking at the rest of the attackers that are in there. She's not as good as Grim, or Capitao, or Ying. So yeah, all right, let's be realistic. Okay, Zof goes down in B. And that is that. The Year 10 Season 1 tier list sorted. There's a couple in there which could go up and down. Vigil definitely could go maybe up 1. Zof could maybe go up 1. Could maybe look at 0 dropping down 1. Maybe Mav dropping down 1. But I'm confident that Azami, Dokkaebi, Fenrir, Legion, Malusi, Mutant, Valka definitely S tier. Keen to know your thoughts, of course. Get that in the description. The comments below. 37 minutes we're on at the minute, apparently, for how long that's taken me to go through 75 operators, I think we've got now. A little minute blurb on each one, give or take. Well, obviously not a minute, because we've spent 37 minutes, and a minute would be 75 minutes for each operator. Right. Thanks, as always, for getting involved with the channel. I hope we haven't disappointed you there by putting your mate, like all the Lion mains, and I'm like, C, he's not C, he's definitely an A-tier operator. Defenders can't move. Don't Lion scan at the start of a round. As soon as you get off your drone, you go, boom, Lion scan. Why? And I did a video about it years ago, and people said, oh, so you can tell if people are spawn peeking. People are spawn peeking is stationary. They're not going to appear on a Lion scan. Anyway, don't be started about that. I wish you nothing but the best with your luck in Year 10 Season 1. Let us know your thoughts on this below. Who would you move up? Who would you move down? Give me some stick if you want to give me some stick. That's what Siege is about, opinions, right? If you think I'm wrong, tell me, and then I'll reply back and say, shut up, you No, I'm kidding, I won't really say that. Right. Do us a favour, like, comment, subscribe, and all the stuff that helps. I've got a second channel that is all about the outdoors and camping below, which I do a lot of in my spare time. On my recent video, I actually had to use a camping stove to melt some barbed wire to get a sheep out of a barbed wire fence. That was interesting. Check it out on Bolden Outdoors. And I'll see you next time. Cheers for watching. Bye for now.